off we go with start or stream for week 14. I know you're thinking, wow, he usually goes live at 8 o'clock, but he hasn't been around the last couple of weeks. We had Bradley. Maybe did he abandon us? We need him. We need to throw some questions at him, just final dilemmas for setting our lineups for the week, and I'm just worried. Worried that he's just decided he's not interested. It's December. We're on the backside of the season. He's out. Wrong. I'm here. We had a little yoga class to start the morning. I couldn't quite get the 8 o'clock time rocking, but 10:45. 10:45, we're starting the show. It's still before 11, so we're going to go 10:45 to 11:45. Good morning. I'm here for your questions. I'm looking at the slate right now. It's pretty exciting. Seahawks, Cardinals, that line just keeps going down. The total keeps going down. We have the Bills going to Los Angeles, which I think is actually really exciting. We have a Monday night game that should be exciting, right? We have Bengals, Cowboys. This is the one way that the Cowboys could actually compete and deliver for fantasy. Rico Dowdle, CeeDee Lamb at the Cowboys. Right, Bengals at the Cowboys, home game. This is how you get at least 2, if not 3, maybe a Cooper Rush entering like the top 12 lineups for the week. It's very possible. Might have 3 Cowboys in the top 3 lineups for the week. Listen, it's probably not going to happen, but it could happen. This is the one way it could happen. The best game, though, clearly, we have Herbert versus Mahomes. That's very exciting stuff. I'm interested to see what happens. Bears are just 3-point dogs at San Francisco. So let me explain this. If I told you the 4-8 Bears with a rookie quarterback and fired coaches would be going to San Francisco in week 14 at 4-8, and they would be 3-point dogs, you wouldn't believe me. And I would say, well, okay, Purdy's out? No. Right? Like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you Purdy was in. If I said, no, Purdy's playing. Purdy's healthy. It's fine. Is this guy playing? Yeah, this guy's playing. These guys, well, no, not Ayuk. Okay, it's not everybody. Defender X not playing. Okay, fine. Right? Still, that's crazy. That's crazy. You wouldn't be able to really understand and conceptualize how the 49ers could have fallen this far, this fast, but they did. They did. Again, no McCaffrey, I know. Okay, but when you're looking at the lines, Vegas is not really looking at running backs when they're setting lines. Okay? That's just a fact. That's what's happening. So we have Isaac Garendo. So we have Garendo season. We've got Zach Charbonnet season. So we've got some fun seasons happening. We're going to see if we can get some Kamani Vidal run this week. Will Kendre Miller make an appearance? Everyone's injured in New Orleans. Kendre Miller gets activated. See what happens with Kendre Miller. So there's some interesting possibilities here. Of course, we have Braylon Allen season. But I don't want to overlook Jalen Wright season. Now I know, hey, Devon Achane is amazing. He's on a historic pace. He's trying to break some guy named McDonald. What's his name? Let me know in the chat. Let me know his name. The guy in 1939 that had the running back with the 10 touchdown receptions or something, whatever it is. Whatever, there's some record on the Bold Prediction Show, and I'm embarrassed that I can't remember, that Theo was talking about. I think it's touchdown catches. I don't remember exactly. Okay? Either way, the record has held for almost 100 years. So, of course, Achane is great. But no Mostert. My little antenna's going up. It's now hard to find a better handcuff. Garendo got there. Yay! Charbonnet, right? And then you've got Corum and Davis and Braylon Allen got there. After Corum and Davis, hard to find a better handcuff option right now to stash for the fantasy playoffs. I mean, no one wants to see Achane get hurt, but it's very possible. And then if Achane's hurt and Mostert's hurt in the fantasy playoffs and you have Jalen Wright, that is leverage at the running back position. Was it McDonald? Roland McDonald? What was his name? Is it Johnny McNally? Johnny Blood McNally? Is that his name? 11 TD receptions. Okay, that's what it is. 11. It's not 10. It's 11 TD receptions for Johnny McNally. Why I said McDonald, I don't know. But Johnny McDonald would be better. McNally's a little, hey, McNally, hey! Hey, McNally! McDonald would just be placeholder person. Johnny McDonald. Debo, Devontae Smith, or Judy? Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Well, Devontae Smith's coming back from injury. The Panthers are a little bit of a trap game for wide receivers where, okay, of course you want Saquon and Jalen Hurts, and it's a 45-point total with a 14-point line. So the implied points for the Eagles are off the charts. Someone's going to have to score those touchdowns. It's probably going to be Hurts and Saquon, and then like Grant Calcaterra, A.J. Brown. Don't necessarily love it for Devontae Smith, but what are the other options? Jerry Jeudy going to the Steelers. This is actually not a great matchup for Jerry Jeudy at all, okay? Even though it seems like, a divisional match and they're going to be playing from behind, some garbage time. This kind of garbage time is a little bit fake when it's Jameis Winston and he just can't get anything going in the fourth quarter against the Steelers. It's very possible that it's just this whole offense will grind to a halt against the Steelers defense. But Judy's been epic. Feels a little point chasing to go Jeudy. And then there's Deebo Samuel. The problem with Deebo Samuel, he hasn't been doing anything. So that's what makes it a little bit tricky is that in terms of the talent, I would play Deebo because there's a game where, okay, they're going to have to throw to be, they have Garendo. Purdy's still the quarterback, but it's the Bears. And Deebo hasn't been playing well. So now you're telling me he's going to have to face an above-average cornerback on a play-in, play-out basis. He just hasn't been good this year. So it makes it very tough to play Deebo. So then I think you're down. Then you're between Jeudy and Devontae Smith. I typically will go with the guy. I mean, Judy's game is very similar to Devontae Smith's game. These guys are fragile, svelte, technician wide receivers. That's how they win. One guy's in a situation where they're just projected to score so many points. We have A.J. Brown as wide receiver 4 this week. So it's gonna be tricky to bench Devontae Smith in this situation. It's very close. It's very close. Oh, God. Because Deebo is going to play. They're going to have to feed him. What else are you going to do? But I got to go Jeudy. God, I hate it. Oh, I hate that. That was a great question. I really hated it. Judy's playing so well that it stops being point chasing when the guy's putting up 250 yards and he's just playing so well at this point. And they're going to be, 6.5 point dogs on the road. They're going to have to throw. And this is Jameis Winston. And I believe in him. I believe he's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. The news comes out that Sam Darnold has not been offered an extension by Minnesota. Thank God. That would be the worst. Can you imagine if you're Minnesota, you just spend a top 10 pick on a quarterback and you go and dump all this salary on another quarterback who's never going to be as good as, let's say 40% best case scenario, the upper 40th percentile, say 60th percentile career performance of J.J. McCarthy, then what are we doing here? Right? What are we doing? And he's probably absolutely peaked as a professional right now, Sam Darnold. So no, Minnesota, no. Let him go. You have to let him go. Please. It feels kind of brave to let Sam Darnold go right now, but you have to let him. You have to. You can't. IDP Doctor. We got some different platforms asking questions. We had a Facebook question, a great Facebook question. It really did come down to I get why you'd want to play Devontae Smith, but that game just is so unlikely to shoot out. That's why we get to go Judy. That's really what's going on. IDP Doctor, Kenny Walker, he's either going to play Isaiah Davis, Travis Homer, or Kamani Vidal. He has a difficult time spelling this morning. I hope he's not a real doctor. Though doctors are famous for having bad penmanship, but I guess that's a question, right? If your doctor has bad penmanship, that's legit. That's what all doctors. Listen, kids. When I was younger, before the internet, doctors wrote everything out, and if a doctor had really bad penmanship, and the pharmacy would have a difficult time decoding it, or the people at the pharmacy had to know the doctor and understand how to decode what the hell he was saying, his hieroglyphs. So that was the thing, and doctors were lauded for having bad penmanship. But nowadays, I don't even know if anyone can anyone write anymore? Can anyone even write anything? Can anyone if I gave you a pencil or a pen, could you even write a letter down? Can a millennial, Gen Z even do that? Bottom line is, let's say we're in that world where penmanship matters for doctors, which it probably doesn't anymore. If that doctor not only has bad penmanship, but also is bad at spelling, is that a red flag? Because again, the penmanship, we want it to be bad. Do we want the spelling to be bad? At that point, I think I would want my doctor to know how to spell Kamani Vidal. I think I would want my doctor to know how to spell Isaiah Davis. Spell it like Pacheco. And I don't want to be a big spelling stickler, but two spelling errors. I'm still answering your question. The answer to the question is Travis Homer, because we know that Roshan's out. DeAndre Swift is not 100% if he plays at all. I think he's going to play, but not 100%. Travis Homer on passing downs. They're on the road. Bears are underdogs. This is a Travis Homer week. This is a week to get get in there with Travis Homer. Battle. I like it. Let's go. Travis Homer. Play him. Debo or Nick Westbrook? Come on, guys. Really? Debo. We're Team Debo. I just want to make sure people know this. We're Team Debo, even though I sort of dismissed him from the last comparison. I would play Devontae Smith over Debo. I just want to make, okay, so we're going to line up the preferences from the first question. I would play Devontae Smith over Debo. But then then the question is actually a better question, Debo or Calvin Ridley, because that's the real question. Calvin Ridley's got the incredible matchup. Debo actually has more implied points. See, that's the thing. That's the missing piece, and the reason I would go Devontae Smith is the implied points. Debo has the worst matchup, but more implied points. So they equal out as the number one receiver on the respective teams. It's just that Purdy's much better and much more accurate and much better at sustaining drives than Will Levis is. So that is a close sort of back-end wide receiver 2 question. And I would go Calvin Ridley, but I don't think it's that clear. Then you're down to Keenan Allen. Very quickly, we're seeing Keenan Allen in spots where he's going to produce. Keenan Allen has a great schedule the rest of the way. Keenan Allen is a guy you want on rosters. This is not point chasing with Keenan Allen. I think that he had a bad run of it with variance. He's the type of player that can still get open and squeeze the football. That's his job. He can still do that. So I'm also team Keenan Allen this week. Malik Neighbors is going to be playing with limitations. I would be reticent to play Malik Neighbors this week. He and Brian Thomas, I think, are not 100%. I would rather play a Marvin Harrison. I'd rather play Devontae Smith. I'd rather play a Garrett Wilson than those guys. And then you're down to like Addison, Jalen Waddle, Thielen. Okay, at that point, oh my God. Oh my God. I think, you know what? I'm going to go Thielen. I'm going to go Thielen and Waddle over Malik Neighbors this week just because I hate how banged up he is and that they said he's not going to be 100%. And the quarterback situation, we're going to look back and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors, we're going to look back and go, we're going to forget the second half. Okay? It's going to be March. And you sure as hell better forget everything that happened to Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas in the second half of the season. It never happened. Look at weeks 1 through 8 and just lock in on that. Or even, I don't even know, Neighbors didn't even play in some of those weeks. Whatever that is, a very small period of, even Brian Thomas missed games. Anyway, we're talking about like a 6-game sample from the first half of the year for Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. Use that for your projections. Use that to extrapolate off of because these guys are just going to be leaking value the rest of the year. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it so much. They're not 100%. Their quarterbacks stink. Nick Westbrook is going to get after it. Nick Westbrook, top 40 option this week. I just want to say that. Is he Debo? No. Are we 100% sure that Isaiah Davis isn't better than Braylon Allen? Well, no. We're not even close to sure of that. I mean, who would say that? Is someone in fantasy sure that Braylon Allen's better than Isaiah Davis? Hell no. But I will say that Braylon Allen has so far been good. I mean, let's take a look at this for a second. Let's look at Braylon Allen on Player Profiler momentarily. So, if we look at Braylon Allen, okay, the guy for a 235-pound running back is incredibly fast, incredibly strong, has a great matchup against Miami. This is a no-brainer. He already has 12 catches. He already has 3 touchdowns. So they've been playing him inside the 10, and he's been catching some passes, 12 passes. Now, in college, he didn't do much. So if we go up to this menu here, we can click here, we can go to college stats. We can jump down. Even in college, though, 28 catches. Look at that. Right? Now, again, total catches in college, not impressive. Not even 50. But he decided that he was going to catch more passes in less games, too. Only 11 games. So if he played 12 games, we're talking about 30-plus receptions for Braylon Allen. It's pretty tough. It'd be pretty tough for Isaiah Davis to say, yeah, I'm definitively better than this guy. That's going to be tough. I like Isaiah Davis a lot. The drafting of Isaiah Davis made me like Breece Hall worse in seasonal leagues in 2024. Just another reason why it's like, why are they drafting another running back who looks like Tyler Algier? Big, relatively fast. Also can catch passes. Already has 4 catches out of basically on no snaps this year. Interesting player. Very interesting player. A guy that you need to stash, you need to pick up. Breece Hall very easily could go to IR. That's a question, I guess. At the beginning of the show, I was like, well, we have a bunch of new top handcuff backs. It's always been Corum and Davis, and then you've also now Charbonnet's actually playing, Allen's playing, they're starting, so they're no longer considered handcuffs. Who's next? Jalen Wright's got to be high up without Mostert playing. But where's Isaiah Davis? Isaiah Davis also got to be high up. But Jalen Wright's got the draft capital. Jalen Wright's got the explosiveness. I think that if I had to guess who would be injured this week, if I had to pick a running back that would be injured, I would say Achane more likely to get injured. So I would roster Wright on my bench over Davis, but it's very close. It's very close. Very close. Very close. Also, Fast Draft is happening. There are 2 drafts left. So we filled our first tournament, our first DFS tournament, other DFS tournaments. You were late. You were late to fastdraft.app. Fastdraft.app, you were late. If you missed it for like first 3 tournaments of the year, there was overlay. You fucked up. Tons of overlay. You didn't get in. Now Fast Drafts, these tournaments are filling. The good news is you can use promo code Podfather. Promo code Podfather now will get you $25. $25 deposit bonus. Code Podfather. Right? Now, again, it's a match bonus, so you can't put in 15 and get 25. But if you put in 25, you get 25. Put in 50, you get 25. So we want you to be playing. We want you to join these drafts. They're live drafts. Take about 5 minutes. You can also go to turbo mode. You click turbo mode inside Fast Draft, and you can set your rankings, and you can order, say, 5 teams with these rankings. And then you'll be put in draft rooms automatically in different draft slots, and you'll get all different teams based on your preferences, and you get good coverage there. And so the vast majority of the winners have used turbo, actually. So it's interesting, the use of turbo versus live drafting. But yeah, we're locking in. We're close. We're like 1 draft away from this thing closing up. So fastdraft.app, go to the Flex 6 Frenzy, and we can play for $1,000 prize pool. If these things keep filling, we're going to have to bump up the prize pool, which is going to be interesting. And then we've also got a playoff challenge coming soon. And we've got 2025 Best Ball coming soon, the rookie game, the Origins rookie-only Best Ball tournament, going to be rolling out soon. So get the app, make sure your notifications are turned on, and you know when these tournaments get rolled out. And it's the best new fantasy app that's out there. There hasn't been anything new that's been any good that's come along in many years. Probably since Underdog, really. There hasn't been anything that has gotten a lot of buzz until Fast Draft. And you haven't even really seen the buzz for Fast Draft yet, because Best Ball is really where this thing is going to thrive at its finest. And we only had a couple weeks of a little stealth launch at the end of August. Once we're live for the month of January, the month of February with these various Best Ball tournaments, the buzz is really going to build. And if you got in early, then you'll be better prepared to succeed against the competition on fastdraft.app, fastdraft.app, and then you get the app. It's on your mobile device. That's it. You don't have to go to a website. Don't have to get some clunky app to try to navigate the website. It's right there, and it's great. So, D-Hop or Nick Westbrook? Well, that's interesting. That's a little ironic, right? It's a little ironic that Hopkins vacates in Tennessee, and now they're adjacent. Westbrook and Hopkins are adjacent in the rankings, and I'm going to go with the matchup. I'm going to go with Nick Westbrook-Akine, even though the implied Vegas odds, there's 2 more implied points. That's it. Normally you'd think there's got to be a lot more implied points for Hopkins. The argument's going to be chase the implied points. That's what the Podfather always says. Well, there's only 2 here. And it's very easy. This so smells like a Will Levis game. We could totally think back 24 hours, right? It's going to be Monday morning, and we're like, man, I didn't see it coming. How did I not see it coming? A big Will Levis game. You know, a big Will Levis game is hanging out there. The thing that's going to get people re-energized about Will Levis. He's got a big arm. He's athletic. You know it's coming. This would be the spot. Nick Westbrook-Akine finds a way to score random touchdowns. So he's got a nice little floor there. He's got some ceiling with the matchup. I kind of like Nick Westbrook-Akine over DeAndre Hopkins. We're talking about the low-end wide receiver 3s this week. That's your guy. Some of you, maybe you didn't start Christian Watson. That was a mistake. Oh, well. Get after it with Nick Westbrook-Akine, Jalen Waddle, Adam Thielen, back end wide receiver threes. Darnell Mooney. Don't forget about Darnell Mooney. Incredible matchup against Minnesota. Don't forget about Darnell Mooney. This is what happens. Mooney's a guy we're flexing every week to get that upside. He doesn't boom. He doesn't boom. He doesn't boom. You bench him. He goes boom. You got to get Mooney in there. Mooney and Elijah Moore, they round out the back end wide receiver options, back end wide receiver 3, getting into wide receiver 4, also Rome Odunze. And there are people here at Player Profiler that really like Sterling Shepard this week. Seems thin. But he's a top 45 option, but seems thin. He's not good. That's the problem. See, there I go Odunze every time because at least Odunze, the matchup's not as good, but they're gonna. But I love wide receivers on the road, and it's possible that we just get a lot of Bucky Irving this week. A lot of Bucky Irving, even some, Rachaad White makes another comeback, and then we don't get as much Sterling Shepard or Mike Evans. It's fact. So Sharbs, Ladd McConkey, Braylon Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, or Neighbors. This is full PPR. This is the Frogs. Well, I mean, Ladd McConkey is a true game-time decision, and I wouldn't even be considering him even if he were healthy. None of those receivers are at a level of a bell cow back. So between Charbonnet and Braylon Allen, that's really the question. And it's tough. It's tough stuff. Looking at our rankings here. Charbonnet. And, we have Braylon Allen. Oh, yeah. See, this is one of those areas with our rankings where I am not sure this is what I would do, right? If I were running our rankings, would I split the baby? We're really splitting the baby with our rankings. We have Davis dragging down Allen quite a bit, so now they're almost adjacent in the rankings. We have Allen and then Davis, and then all the touches going to Charbonnet. But you could easily see the Jets being like, listen, Allen is the best player. We thought we had a bunch of packages here that were great for Davis, and that's true. But without Hall, there is still a high probability that they just default to, okay, we have a primary back here, and his name is Braylon Allen, and then we're going to mix in Davis. That's how I would play it this week. But when you're actually doing projections for a site and you're trying to maximize accuracy, you're going to end up not making big calls like that. You're going to be better off getting coverage and saying you could play both of these guys. Whereas with Charbonnet, you're playing Charbonnet. So the answer is Charbonnet. You see this happen with a lot of people. They will list a bunch of players, and the guy they list number one is the guy they know is the guy they want to play, but they just have these other guys, and they just want to make sure someone says, okay, don't worry. You have the right guy in mind. These other guys are nice, but just go with the guy you have in mind. And that's what I'm saying to the Frogs. You're going to play Charbonnet. Of course. It's going to get all the touches. And then we had another question, perfect question. Darnell Mooney or Rome Odunze? Darnell Mooney. We're not abandoning Darnell Mooney at this point. This would be a very bad idea. Kirk Cousins is inconsistent. He's not bad. There's a big difference between highly volatile and bad. Kirk Cousins is not bad. And apparently they haven't had discussions about replacing Cousins. Sure. Tell me another one. If you have room in a deeper league, a 14-teamer, let's say you don't love your quarterback, I would see if Michael Penix is available. If you have an option on the bench, an empty spot on the bench, and there should be empty spots on the bench, there's probably a receiver you don't need to carry on your bench. Most likely. Because the handcuff choices have been whittled down, right? We're down to Vidal, and we mentioned it already. We have Davis, Corum, Vidal, Wright. I guess what we're saying is Isaiah Davis isn't even a handcuff anymore. He's a standalone option. We're going to find out today. We'll find out today. Breece Hall's probably going to get shut down. Why would they play him? And then we'll know what this Allen Davis touch distribution is going to be moving forward. Jerome Ford or Ray Davis, PPR. I just play Ray Davis because there's a lot of points going to get scored there. Bills are a road favorite in Los Angeles. The line is 3.5. Smells so bad. They really, really want you to take the Rams. Probably because the Bills are going to go on the road and they're going to love the weather and they're going to be like, let's just roll. Yes, Josh Allen's great in the snow, but he's also great in like pristine conditions. So let's roll. And James Cook, not 100%. Let's give Ray Davis significant touches. I'm playing Ray Davis. Ray Davis is a sneaky play this week. Sneaky fringe play. 2 QB league. Does it matter? 2 QB? Winston or Darnold? Winston or Darnold? 6 points per passing touchdown doesn't matter. If you told me it was like -4 for interceptions, see, that would matter. Then maybe I'm less likely to pick Winston. I need the case against Winston. Someone explain to me why we're still hesitant to play Winston. I'm looking at our rankings right now. We don't have Winston as high as I thought we would. This has been the case all year. We have Darnold fairly high. It is the Steelers. It is a spot where Winston could be just totally shut down, throw a bunch of picks, and give you 5 fantasy points. Minnesota, Atlanta. Atlanta really plays well against these Minnesota strengths. So Minnesota's great against the run. Well, they have Bijan. So Bijan's going to override that. Cousins needs an easy situation. He needs it so bad. He needs a nice, soft matchup. He has that. He has Drake London. He has Darnell Mooney. He has Ray McLeod. I like there's a real possibility of a nice shootout, a higher probability of a shootout in that game. So what the line on that game is 45.5. Oof. Wow. I like the Falcons in that game getting 6 points. I'm going to bet the Falcons in that game for sure, and I like the over. So I like the over. I like the Falcons. It's good. It's good, and I like the revenge game narrative for Cousins. I like the I'm not dead yet. How you like that? Can't you see Cousins winning this game? Can't you close your eyes and see Cousins going to Minnesota, winning the game because Minnesota has been outperforming their underlying metrics all year? Okay, going in and winning. And then if that happens, how do you think that's going to happen? It's going to happen because it's going to be 31-28. That's how that's going to shake out. So I like the over in that game, and therefore I like Darnold. God, I hate saying I don't like him. But I would play him over Winston this week, as much as I hate it. I hate it. Imagine if it was Cleveland, right? Imagine if it was Cleveland facing Atlanta, and it was the Vikings going to Pittsburgh. I would say Winston, because Winston's better. Winston's a better quarterback for fantasy. Whether he's better in real life, I'm not sure because of the interceptions. I don't know. He's much better for a rebuilding team, I can tell you that. Pick 3. Got Endo, Rachaad White, Rico, Braylon Allen. That's easy. No Rachaad White this week. No Rachaad White. Sadly. It's got Bucky Irving week. He has Marvin Harrison, Brian Thomas. I'm going to be careful with Brian Thomas. Garrett Wilson, Juwan Jennings, Elijah Moore. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Tough to bench Marvin Harrison or Garrett Wilson. So I think Marvin Harrison, Garrett Wilson's the starting point. We know we're getting them in there. Then the question is, do you pull the trigger on Brian Thomas, or do you try to get a little bit sneaky? Do you try to get a little bit sneaky? Do you try to go with a fringier option, an Elijah Moore type option? Oh God, I would want to go Elijah. I love there's oh man. See, Elijah Moore's going to get the targets. Oh. Juwan Jennings, too. Juwan Jennings is interesting. Even though it's Chicago, Juwan Jennings, man, they're going to have to throw. They have Garendo, but they're going to have to throw. Yeah, you got to go Jennings. So I'm not going Thomas this week. I've had a bad feeling about Thomas for many weeks, and it hasn't hurt me benching him. So we're going Marv, Garrett Wilson, Juwan Jennings. Feels right. Looks right. Feels right. Hawkinson or Njoku? Njoku. David Njoku. Can't we wait for Hawkinson to show that he's 100%? Why are we doing this? This is my question. Why are we doing this? We have it pretty clearly, David Njoku, by 2.5 fantasy points projected this week. It gets interesting when you go David Njoku versus Kelsey and Ingram. That gets interesting. We have Jonnu Smith locked in as a top 4 option this week. Love that. But I like David Njoku. If we're playing Judy, we're playing Njoku. We're not necessarily playing Elijah Moore. That's turns out that's where we have to say no. I like Elijah Moore though. Wish you guys were giving me questions where I could say play Elijah Moore. Positive Grouch says they won't even teach my kids cursive. This is a callback. This is how far behind I am on the comments. I don't know what that means, but all I know is as soon as I said the word penmanship, I thought I lost most of the audience. Like, I'm so sensitive to this as a boomer. So sensitive. I'm like, wait, I don't even think that people know what that is. Don't they just type everything now? Why would they even learn how to write? And then who cares about doctors? You just see a robot. Jameis or Geno Smith? I think Geno pretty easily. You want that game. You want exposure to that game. That's another game I feel like, okay, so Vikings hosting the Falcons, that feels like an over. And then even though Vegas keeps pulling points out from under this game, Seahawks Cardinals, I can't look at Seahawks Cardinals and not see an over. I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's maybe it's a flaw that I have. But I think that game's going over. And we have Geno Smith as, especially no Kenneth Walker. That means they're going to throw a little more. It's Geno week. I don't know if I've ever seen Geno ranked as high. Whenever you look up and you have Geno, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Tua, Jared Goff, all in your top, and Russell Wilson, all in your top 10, There's a lot of bye weeks, number one. Oh, there must be a lot of bye weeks. And then number two, you're like, oh, this is miserable, right? We have all those guys ranked ahead of like Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy where we are because Jared Goff was shamefully dismissed from Los Angeles. Okay, he was a bust. Okay, Russell Wilson was a bust just last year. Okay, Tua Tagovailoa, no one thinks that he's any good. No one thinks he's anything but someone who's supported by weapons, and he's left-handed. So I don't like him for that reason. Geno Smith has been fully resuscitated after being one of the more sort of spectacular busts in Jets history. Just a sort of one of these elongated, like multi-year failures where he's just totally humiliated. Baker Mayfield was humiliated in Cleveland and then, again, couldn't catch on in another team. Same thing with Sam Darnold. Couldn't catch on with another team. Like, why isn't he currently the franchise quarterback for the Panthers? Why'd they go with Bryce Young? Why did Minnesota move on from Kirk Cousins? Like, you're not going to move on from Kirk Cousins to draft J.J. McCarthy and then go back to Sam Darnold. If they do that, they won't. They can't. But if they do. Neighbors or McLeod? Oh, God. That might be the line. I hate that Neighbors is playing hurt. McLeod actually has some nice sort of a shootout juice. But I'm going to go Neighbors. I hate it. Neighbors or Shakir? What? You're going Shakir all day. Shakir's been playing fantastic. Neighbors wishes he could play like Shakir. You don't want to know where we have Shakir this week. Top 15. I'll just tell you. Vidal or Cam Akers? Ugh, God. Ugh, boof. In standard. Woof. I'm going to go Vidal there just because Gus Edwards goes down in the first quarter. That could be a real smash in standard leagues. Wow, I'll never get to the end of these questions. Only have 15 minutes to go. Wan'Dale Robinson, Gus Edwards, or McLeod? I'm going to go McLeod in that situation. That's the type of situation where you can chase the points with a guy like McLeod. But I want to see if the Gus Edwards is just based on touches is too good to bench here. No. Oh, my God, it's so close. Oh, wow. We have them almost adjacent in the flex rankings. We have a flex tab on the weekly rankings. Check out the weekly rankings on Player Profiler. Heavily discounted at this point in the season. And, wow, really? That's amazing. That's amazing that they're adjacent. I'm going to go Ray. God, my instincts. I was like, let's just check Gus. That was smart. Shepard, Davis, Homer. Again, I like Homer. So Homer is in a situation where he's going to score points this week. I don't know what Davis's role is going to be. We got to see this. And Shepard, I can't. Judy, Ridley, or Connor? The question is Connor there. How much do you believe in Connor? Because I think you're playing Judy over Ridley. And you're playing Connor over both. Yep. I can see it too. Especially because it's a home game. If that were a road game, I would probably go Judy. But a home game for James Conner, 2.5 point favorites, which you hate. Oh, that number. Vegas wants you to take the Cardinals. Vegas really, really likes Seattle. They like Seattle's defense. They like Geno Smith. We like Geno Smith. So we're always interested when we see that, there's certain players we're always ahead of in the rankings. Shakir's been one of them. Geno Smith's been another one. Interesting. So James Conner is the answer there. Braylon or Charbonnet? I answered that earlier. It's Charbonnet. Cousins or O'Connell? O'Connell just keeps getting pulled at halftime. So I like Desmond Ridder in Vegas. Devontae Adams or Pickens? We're going Pickens this week. This is a Pickens week. Theo talked all about it in the Bold Predictions podcast. Elijah Moore or DJ Moore? I love a good Moore comparison, and it's going to be DJ Moore this week. DJ Moore's got a nice matchup. All DJ Moore's been doing is producing. Look at the last couple of weeks. Don't ever, ever, ever doubt DJ Moore. $9, $10. Wow, look at this super chat. Holy moly. That's pretty cool. Wow, thank you. That's amazing. 1.5 PPR. Hubbard or Neighbors? Oh, boy. My instincts say Hubbard right off the bat because Hubbard gets dump-offs against a team like the Eagles. So my first instinct is to say Hubbard. They're very close in our rankings, very close. But I'm going to go Hubbard there because you get better touchdown equity with Hubbard, and also there's some reception upside there on dump-offs. He just signed the big contract. They're never going to feed Jonathan Brooks this year. So I think you go Hubbard. It's safer than Neighbors. Neighbors has health limitations plus the quarterback handicap. It's terrible. It's terrible. When is Fast Draft coming to Michigan? That's a great question. We have applied. We are in the licensing process. They are investigating the business. They have to go through this whole states like Pennsylvania, states like Michigan, they have huge infrastructure built out already for gaming. And so they just take longer, right? We already got through one of those states, which was Missouri. They have a big infrastructure. That finally came in. And then we will let you guys know when we get Tennessee. We're almost ready to go live with Tennessee. That's a super esoteric reason why we're not live with Tennessee right now, but we want to be. And then we get New York. We're pending with New York. We get 3 more to go. 3 big ones to go. Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania. And then that's a wrap. That's all the big states. And can you start Travis Homer today? Yes, you can. Yes, you can start him. Quentin Johnston, Wandale, Robinson, or Vidal, half PPR. This is so gross. That is so gross that I'm going to go to the rankings, but I don't even know how much the rankings help you here. Right? I want to say Quentin Johnston. That's what I want to say. Oh, God. I think because of the limitations on Neighbors, I'm going to go Wandale. There's some upside there in garbage time potentially. You never know. Giants, Saints can sometimes go 28-30, and you never how did this happen? But these teams are just laying down. So you might have a lay-down situation with the New Orleans defense and Neighbors being banged up. So that's why Wandale is the answer. But, geez, that's tough. That's tough stuff. Hubbard over Ray Davis. I would go Travis Homer over Ray Davis, though. Ray Davis is still not that active, right? I think that's really the cutoff there. Homer and Ray Davis is a tough one. I know that Swift is banged up, so that's why. It's tough, though. That's a real tricky thing. Charbonnet or Tracy? We're going Charbonnet this week. This is Charbonnet week. Don't doubt Charbonnet. You're going Charbonnet. You're going Charbonnet. Unless it's Rico Dowdle. That's a great point. You could. This is the one I've been waiting for. See, okay, I should always do this. We're now week 14, and I've been doing this show for how many years? I should always do my fantasy start-sit question for fantasy football. Because it's not Charbonnet Tracy. It's Charbonnet Dowdle. And if you have Dowdle, You're going Dowdle. It's all about Dowdle, baby. We're going Dowdle. And maybe it's a function of your intelligence and instincts that you all know not to even ask questions about Dowdle. He's a start. But that's my fantasy question, and I'm starting. Sal Vitcher, look at him. Look at this guy. Look at Sal. What? $50 super chat. We're going to get Sal in Fast Draft. He would crush Fast Draft, the Sal Vitri. Is Bucky Irving hurt? Wait, is he out? I thought he was playing. Someone said he practiced on Friday. Wait, is he not playing? Wait. He's expected to play per Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter hasn't been wrong. I checked the Schefter. Said Bucky Irving's playing. It's one of these hip back things. Okay? All right. We need to have the talk. Okay, you can't do that to me, first of all. Second of all, there's a very big difference between a running back playing with limitations and a wide receiver playing with limitations. Oftentimes, wide receivers play with limitations, and they can just be a decoy, rotate in, occupy opposing alpha corners, and they're doing their team a service. It does running backs no good, none. Like for Breece Hall to get out there this week does nobody any favors. It's bad for everybody. These running backs down the depth chart, they want opportunities to get out there and grind it out. So they want to go in there and battle. Wide receivers is a different situation. If they are not 100% and they tell you they're not 100% and they're super banged up, they've got, you learn this lesson with Michael Pittman. We've learned this lesson with Deebo Samuel over the years, with all these players over the years. When they're super banged up and they're highly questionable and they end up playing and it's a game time decision and they end up playing, even if McConkey were to play this week, not great, right? McConkey plays, you can't just pencil him in for the standard projection. He's not 100%. That's not how it works. But they're going to use him as a decoy, and they're going to use him in certain packages. But he's not going to get the usage. He's not going to get the targets. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. If a running back's playing, then he's probably going to get a full workload. I just don't know what's happening with DeAndre Swift. If Swift, I haven't heard. He returned to practice, which suggests he's healthy enough to play. Okay, but he's less than 100%. I treat all players differently. Okay? I treat DeAndre Swift a little bit more like a receiver. Okay? So if you're like, well, why are you playing Travis Homer? If Swift plays, he's going to play. Well, Travis Homer is going to be active on passing downs. And Travis Homer is in a situation where he could be very active against the 49ers. That just seems like the right matchup for him. And if there was a running back that I would say maybe dials it back if he's banged up, it would be DeAndre Swift. He's very soft. It's very soft. Most running backs are not DeAndre Swift. Most running backs, if they're playing, if Bucky Irving is playing, I'm not going to shift any potential workload over to Rachaad White. That's not happening. Bucky Irving is already, you can tell, he's a warrior. He's an undersized warrior. It's not DeAndre Swift. So again, tricky situation there. I would still go Homer over like Rachaad White. ETN, Chuba, or Ladd. Ladd I don't love, but versus, see, now we're getting into a situation where, okay, now that's a conversation, right? Where do we have ETN? Where do we have Chuba? How far down? How far down do you go? Ladd plays. He's a true game time decision. I got to go Ladd there. There's just not enough there. There's not enough there with Chuba Hubbard to get me off of him. True game time decision. He's not going to be, fully productive even if he plays. He's got shoulder and knee problems. AC joint issue. Pitch count. Right, talking about the pitch count. Technically, Chuba's on a pitch count too with Jonathan Brooks. So, see, this is the thing. They put these guys, these Brian Thomases, they put them on a pitch count. It makes it tough. Still think Chuba's going to do well. But I don't think I could bench Chuba or bench Ladd for Chuba. I couldn't do it. That could be a mistake. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Do you think that's a mistake? Do you think it's a mistake to play a guy like Ladd who's clearly not 100%, going to be in a pitch count, over Chuba Hubbard? I would go Ladd and hate it. I would just go Ladd and hate it. McCormick or Gus the Bus? Puke. Kind of like McCormick. Gus doesn't have any upside. Tracy or Charbonnet? Charbonnet. Super chat. Oh my God. Hammy Patel. Love it. Hubbard, Ray Davis, or Jalen Wright. Oh my God. Yes, I know most starts out. Thank you for that. Hubbard. But keep Wright. Do not drop Wright. Wait. Pickens is out? Did that happen? Pickens is out. No, that can't happen. Did that really? Oh my God, that's going to kill. That happened? Oh yeah. Hamstring injury. Look at that. I missed it. Somehow I didn't think that he was a game time decision, but he tested it out before practice and Pickens is out. So earlier I gave advice, if that person is still around, I think I gave advice on Pickens versus somebody. And the answer is somebody. Whoever you asked about before, it's actually Pickens. And apologies. Oh, it was Devontae Adams. And go Devontae Adams over Pickens because Pickens is inactive. Let me know. Was that somehow reported before I went live? Because I did not know Pickens was going to be inactive. That surprised me. Yeah, I'm seeing, some of these recent comments, there's a lot of panicking about Pickens. Okay, good. Okay, I'm not alone. I'm like, what? Hamstrings. Hamstrings have been the death of injury reporting this week. We've been guilty. I've been totally fooled by this. Our Twitter account's been fooled by this. You've got reporters saying player X is expected to play. Remember Brian Robinson? Hamstring injury, doesn't go. Expected to play with a hamstring. You can't fall for the banana in the tailpipe hamstring injury. You can't do it. You've got to just wait and see. Damn, Pickens. That's tough. Oh, we're playing Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin bumps up to Jameis Williams. Jameson Williams. Did I say Jameis Williams? Imagine Jameis Winston and Jameson Williams together on the same team. So that's the moment. That's the movement I would do. I would go Calvin Austin over Malik Neighbors. I would go Calvin Austin over Brian Thomas. I would go Calvin Austin over Jordan Addison, over Jalen Waddle, over Thielen, over Watkins, over Hopkins, Westbrook Akine. I'm going Austin over all those guys. Law of the conservation of targets. And he's been playing well. He's already been a target, and this is Tyler Lockett in Seattle with Russell Wilson all over again. So in this matchup, where would you have Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson from 3 years ago? That's where you put Calvin Austin. I think he's right at that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 cutoff. He's right at Jameson Williams. That's where he is. Keenan Allen. Right? I think I'd probably go Keenan Allen. That's close, though. Debo. I go Debo there. I'd still go Garrett Wilson. I'd still go Marvin Harrison. Still go Devontae Smith. After that, though, fire up Calvin Austin. Oh, yeah. Look at this guy. We had this question from earlier. Debo, Judy, or Devontae Smith. If you go back to the beginning of the show, we went to the whole exercise on this. And we ended up with Judy. We ended up going with Judy. But Devontae Smith, very interesting. Devontae Smith, very, very, very fun play this week. Another super chat from Rick Stark. Love to see it. He's starting Tyreek, and his opponent has Tua. That makes sense. Okay. He also has Waddle. And then his other choices are like Sincere McCormick or Gus Edwards. I think that even if let's just assume this is standard, because otherwise that's not a question. I like that. I like that you're blocking. I like that you have the two wide receivers to block Tua. I like that. So yeah, I think that's even more. Yes, if all else equal, you could start a running back, or like for example, if you had Kirk Cousins, or your opponent had Kirk Cousins, and you had Darnell Mooney, then you're going to want to play Mooney if it's close in flex, just to help to cancel out a big game from Cousins. I mean, especially imagine, just do the thought experiment. Imagine your opponent has a great game, gets 30 from Cousins somehow, 4 touchdowns, and 2 of them go to Mooney, and you have Mooney on the bench. You're going to feel so bad. You would feel so bad. It's so, beyond bad. Terrible. Oh. So he has Tua, you got to play Jalen Waddle. And Jack, finally, I don't feel good about Neighbors at all this week. That's just all the questions with Neighbors, I pretty much faded him. And then there were questions with Wandale for fringe flex options, and I like Wandale. So, yes, Rick, you start both Waddle and Hill. Yes. Why not? It's the ultimate blocker on Tua. Yes, Rick. Start them both. You're clearly starting Hill. So also start Waddle. What's the problem? Waddle, he's like a top 30 option this week. So there's no problem with Waddle. Flex, whoa. This guy is a 1-point tight end premium. We'll end on this question. This is an interesting question. 1-point tight end premium. He's got Harrison and Shakir. Okay. So you're starting Shakir in that case, actually, over Harrison. Believe it or not. Shakir is also playing better. He's in a better spot. It's the shootout game environment. You've got to play Shakir. Okay. But with the tight end premium on Otton, we have him projected for 9.6 fantasy points. We have Shakir projected for like over 15. So Otton would have to have 6 catches in order to make up for that. It's not happening. Okay, that's not. You're not going to project 6 catches for Cade Otton. Therefore, we do the math. Okay, it's good to do math on special, sort of outlier scoring systems. Right? You have the specialized scoring systems like 2x PPR for tight ends. You're tempted to play Otton in that situation. You can't. He doesn't have the upside. He can't even get there just based on baseline median projection math with the additional premium. Then on top of that, Shakir has all of this implied points upside. So for all those reasons, you're playing Shakir this week. Pretty much that. I guess that's the great way to end it off. That's the great way to finish it off. Is it's going to be you're not going to even consider benching. You're not considering benching. Okay, I'll give you one from each position. You are not. This is a great way to end the show from now on. You are not benching Geno Smith. You are not bench unless you have Josh Allen or someone or Hurts, obviously. Okay, but otherwise, you're not benching Geno Smith. You're not benching Rico Dottle. Again, unless you have Saquon and Chase Brown and Achane. Okay, but you're not benching Rico Dottle. You are not benching Khalil Shakir. And again, unless you have a Brock Bowers or a Trey McBride, you are not benching Jonnu Smith. Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.